Okay, so quick video on this one because there's honestly not a whole lot to say. This game straight up doesn't really work as it is. It has all the right ingredients, but it's in the wrong arrangement. Let me explain. So Highguard is what I would describe as a raid shooter, which is not really something that exists right now in an official capacity, but you might have played one before if you've played Roblox or Halo's Forge mode. Forget the hero stuff right now, let's just talk about the fundamentals. There's only one real mode, raid. Nothing else to do, no other modes, which is fine, you know, it's an early game. Basically, the way it works is that your team and your enemy team both have a base. Your objective is to blow up that base. To do that, there are two objectives within each base you have to sabotage, i.e. plant a bomb, and then defend it from being defused. Sounds simple, right? Well, the problem is getting into that base because both bases are protected by a shield. So to initiate a raid, one team has to acquire the shield breaker, bring it to the defending base, and then you can attempt to blow it up. So the game basically works in 4 phases. There's fortifying the base by strengthening walls. Then you go out and loot stuff, collect currency so you can buy upgrades and guns you like. Then there's the skirmish over the shield breaker, where you go to a neutral location and capture it. And then the raid. If the attackers fail the raid, the round progresses and loot upgrades a tier. I actually think this is a super good idea. Like, this mode is brilliant. It's not really like any other type of game. The closest thing would be Battlefield's Rush, I think. It's sort of like a modified Capture the Flag with more moving parts. But Highguard doesn't work because it's just 3v3. There are too few players on each team for this to work. Let's break it down. First, fortifying. This phase is basically worthless because there are too many entry points to a base to cover adequately. There aren't any traps or turrets or pitfalls or anything. You basically just double the health of a breakable wall. And yes, the wall has to be breakable. This isn't like the finals with its destruction model. So at most, you slow down the attackers a little bit. Not worth it. Second is looting. Players already start with a loadout of their choice, whatever guns they want. Finding things out in the world is to choose a different weapon based on a higher tier, but something they didn't choose. But item quality is also locked to the round you're on. So the first round you'll only find tier 2 items, i.e. blues, and currency, which you can use to buy armor, which is destroyed every time you die. Okay. The map is so big that you'll likely never encounter the enemy team at a location you're looting, which means that this phase is boring for the player too. Also, loot is only valuable if you can lose it. You keep everything you die with, so these are really just upgrades you have to scavenge for. This phase is the least thought through. Then, the skirmish. I actually like this phase, but it's simple. Fight over the shield breaker and bring it to the enemy base. Hard to mess this up. And then, the raid. By far the best part of the game. Attackers have like 3 minutes to plant bombs on the 2 sites, and they respawn at their siege tower. But it's sort of the same every time. You try to plant the bomb as fast as you can, and then sit in a corner with like a shotgun or something. Remember, there's only 3 bodies on each team, which means each player represents 33% of their total team strength. Because you can deny reviving players, it's common for one player to get killed on sight, and then the other 2 rotate and have to breach the site where there are potentially 3 players waiting for them. It's a 33% difference every time, which is again a big deal. So it's simply too small, and snowballing is very easy to do in this game. A match can be as little as 10 minutes if one team just coordinates well. So how do we fix this? Easy answer, more players, with some adjustments to the loop. First, we actually can keep the 3-man squad, just triple it in a match. 9v9 in groups of 3. Strange choice, but let me tell you why. It prevents the entire team from being coordinated. More chaos, more feeling like an actual war between 2 bases, instead of an awkward, empty, whatever this is now. Second, expand fortifications. Add turrets, traps, that sort of thing. People want to roleplay defending a base, like actually defending a base, not whatever we have now. Conversely, attacking a base should feel like storming the beaches of Normandy. 8 other players is enough to surround like half the base if spread equally, and then those turrets and traps and fortified walls can actually make a difference. Third, the looting phase is stupid. Take that out and add minions for each base. The more minions you kill, the more experience and currency you get for your team. If your team sucks, you can't unlock that bronze tier. Players will skirmish over neutral minions, and then, when the shield breaker spawns in, everyone stops what they're doing to capture it. Then, a convoy can form around the bearer to take it to the base and start the raid. Then, the raids are not 3 players, but 9 players attacking and 9 defending in this little space. Total chaos. I'm not sure how this would play out with the abilities and the hero aspect, but you could probably drop that anyway. Most of the abilities don't really do anything. This game is 80% aiming. Anyway, doesn't this sound like a way better game? If this were how it was, I'd be playing the hell out of Highguard. Let me know what you think. It's not that Highguard is a bad game conceptually, but I just think a few of the fundamental choices Wildlight made has created a game that isn't a lot of fun to people who aren't playing with 2 of their best friends. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching.